somewhere I feel it in my soul. One chance is everything we've waited for. It's our time, so let me take it home and knock it out of this world. Out of this world where we going, yeah. Out of this world, yeah. Out of this world where we going. So come on, let me
Yeah, out of this world. Time to talk cricket on the SportsMax Zone. All the Super 8 teams at the ICC T20 World Cup have now been confirmed. This after Bangladesh booked their spot by beating Nepal by 21 runs on Sunday. Let's have a look at the two groups at the Super 8 stage, which will begin on Wednesday. Group number 1. Yeah, they'll have Afghanistan, Australia, Bangladesh and India. That looks heavy. Yeah, and then Group 2. This one will have the West Indies, USA, South Africa and England. All right, only one preliminary round game remains to be played, and it is an enticing one as West Indies will face Afghanistan later on Monday, with both teams unbeaten so far in the tournament. With us to preview that encounter and deal with some other issues is Nikhil Uttam-Chandani. Nikhil, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. How are you doing today, young man?
Welcome, Ricardo. No, sorry. Thanks for having me. Love the tie, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Nice contrast, the pink on black, you know?
Thank you very much. You know, I try sometimes. Let's talk some cricket, though, shall we? And I want to start with the other issues, and then we can get to looking ahead to tonight's game between the West Indies and Afghanistan. And I want to get your thoughts on the seedings into the Super 8, because as we know, the teams are pre-seeded and they hold those seedings going into the quarterfinals regardless of where they finish at the group stage. So whether the West Indies beat Afghanistan later tonight or not, they will still end in that group too, whether they top their group or not. Your thoughts on how it is done?
Yeah, I think, Ricardo, I saw Mitchell Stark's comments on it, and I have to agree with him. I think it does put you at a disadvantage, especially if you're one of the teams that are seeded into the second position. So West Indies, for example, are in C2 no matter what. And then you end up playing, well, really and truly, and sometimes you can end up playing 3 group winners or 3 teams that will finish in the first place of their other respective groups. But, I mean, you could easily look at the West Indies and say, well, if they top their group, maybe they deserve to be in a group with Afghanistan, instead of Afghanistan, sorry, where then you play the likes of India and Australia. And I know that doesn't sound easy, but I think you probably have a bit easier schedule in that group. It's tough, but what I don't like is the fact that there's no real advantage with your group stage games. And I think it's what made a lot of these games dead rubbers in the last couple of days. Whereas if you had something on the line, you want to top the group so that you're only playing 1 first place team and 2 second place teams. But because you're seeded, everything was pretty much confirmed beforehand. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting challenge, but probably something that the ICC will look ahead to about maybe altering and adjusting slightly.
Any idea why it is the way it is?
To be honest, no. I think maybe trying to get certain matchups. From a West Indies perspective, I can only think about trying to get them to play at majority of the venues around the region. So we've seen them now. We'll see them tonight for the first time in St. Lucia. Throughout the Super 8s, they'll play 1 in Antigua, they'll play 1 in St. Lucia, 1 in Barbados. So I guess just trying to spread them around. I'm not sure why the ICC did this. It's obviously a very new thing. You can think about the Under-19 World Cup, where there is similar sort of format, but you're actually taking forward the points from your group stage matches, which also places priority on those games. But not in this scenario. You enter with 0 points, you enter with 0 games played. So not exactly sure why, but yeah, they've opted for it, and teams will have to sort of deal with it now.
Yeah, quickly, do you like it? I'm not sure if I got that from what you said. If I missed
No,
it,
I thought I made it quite clear. I said, no, I'm not a big fan of it because I think it takes away from the group stage play and the importance of topping your group and getting that as an advantage.
Okay, apologies. I'm so sorry.
No
Let's talk about the West Indies versus Afghanistan tonight, shall we? Would you make any changes, given the fact that regardless of what happens, you'll move forward into Group 2. Would you, for example, bring in a Shea Hope or give a Shamar Joseph an opportunity tonight? How would you approach it?
I don't think I would change the top five. I'll get to that in a second. In terms of the bowlers, I think there is possibility that we could see change. It depends on how they're feeling. Someone like an Azari Joseph, who was exceptional in that game against New Zealand, I guess it would depend on how his body's holding up. Remember, he had that long layover at the IPL where he wasn't playing, he was just there. But then has come straight into it and has bowled, probably had a decent workload as the World Cup has begun. So if he is probably wanting a rest, which you want him to be firing at full pace, given that you're going to play in St. Lucia, you're going to play on faster decks, I could see a Shamar Joseph or an Obed McCoy coming in. Now, in terms of the batting, Ricardo, why I think I would have liked the luxury of giving Shea Hope an opportunity, because if Johnson Charles, if this is his last chance to sort of prove himself in this tournament, given that he's at home, given that he's got the most T20 runs in St. Lucia at this venue, he's got a star named after him. If this is his last chance and they do make the change from Charles to Shea Hope, like some in the Caribbean have suggested, I would like to have Shea Hope going in with some level of form or going in with some match intensity in the Super 8s, where it's going to be very difficult against four quality teams. So for that reason, I think I would have liked to see Shea Hope in. The problem is, though, you look at that top five, no one has got to a century. Everyone has got starts, a couple of 40s with Roston Chase and Johnson Charles, but it's not been convincing. Other than Sherfane Rutherford, I haven't seen any batter that has shown me, we look the part, we are confident in our abilities. And again, you have to put it down to the surfaces that they played on. So because of that, I would want them to get a knock on what I expect to be a very good St. Lucia surface tonight.
Yeah, Lance asked this question last week of Fazir Mohammed, and I really would love to get your thoughts on it as well. Darren Sammy and his constant interaction with Captain Rovman Powell on the boundary in that very important New Zealand game. How did you see those interactions?
Yeah, I never really seen it before. Obviously, we know Sammy is someone who likes to be very involved, and he likes to... I think what he's done so well is man-manage. You think about the World Cup winning sides that he's done as captain. It's been always the ability to inspire, and surely he must have saw something on the field that went away from the plans that they would have discussed previously. I've never seen him in the games I've commentated and watched. I've never seen him go to the boundary and talk to Robin Powell. But I would expect that it was that urgent, or it was that important in where the game may have gotten away when New Zealand were chasing, that he felt the need to go and have a word with Robin. I've seen Floyd Reef on the boundary edge. I've seen Roddy Eswick when he was in West Indies bowling coach, having a chat with the bowlers. But the fact that Sammy had to do it to Powell, I think it tells you that there was something important that had to be said. So thankfully for the West Indies, they got the job done and they didn't come back sort of to haunt them. But yeah, it was interesting. I never really seen it before.
Yeah, it was very interesting indeed. All right, Nikhil, thanks very much for stopping by and chatting with us, of course. We'll see you tomorrow following that Afghanistan-West Indies game tonight, and we'll have a look back at it.
All right, thanks a lot, Ricardo.
All right, Nikhil Uttamchandani, Lance Whitaker.
Yeah, got a word from Reds Pereira today.
Yeah.
Sold out at Darren Sammy, and very, very good weather, so it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, can't wait to get home and see
somebody's O will go.
Lance, you owe the entire team drinks. Let's take a break.
One chance is everything we've waited for. It's our time, so let me take it home and knock it out of the